Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes for Tuesday, the 11th of February, sponsored by the UK Investor Show. That's held on the 25th of April, in case you are wondering. Starting off with Canadian Overseas Petroleum, which was last covered here, I believe, on the 9th of January. The reason for the interest then was the break of that November resistance line around 0.08. There was a little bit of a move higher after that, but the shares basically were flatlining along the 50-day moving average at 0.07. Interestingly enough, they held that for all the days initially at the beginning of this month. Nice spike higher today through the 200-day line at 0.095, and the view at this stage is really while we're above the 200-day line and that broken August resistance line at that level, we are looking for further upside. Best case scenario is a retest or a test of the top of that rising August trend channel up towards 0.18 pence, which would be quite a result for the bulls after all their extended waiting and in some cases no doubt suffering. Next stock is one that has spiked up today as well. I can see how eTherapeutics has delivered one of the Bulletin Board Heroes legendary long candles, long strong candles, so opening at the low and rushing towards the high of the day, and at the moment staying near there. We've broken a line of resistance from September running through 4 pence, also made it, broken the initial January resistance at 4.2 pence, initial 2020 resistance, so above 4.2, looking for a top of 2018 price channel target as high as 6 pence, and probably, or at least possibly, much more. There's a possibility that, say, that to the top of that channel is heading towards 8 pence rather than just 6 pence, and you'd expect that given how long the basing for this stock has been. What's that? The best part of a year between 3 and 4 pence. So a bit of a log jam break there for the shares. Stock that bounced yesterday and is maintaining that momentum today, or has been, is Goldstone Resources. We did actually retest that August peak and have come back from that. But at end of day close back above that at 2.5 could take the shares up for a final new leg to the upside at 3.5 pence. The only slight concern at the moment is, well, it's a rather big concern, is the way that the RSI is at 97, which is very overbought indeed. And so in a way, you'd almost prefer if the shares came back towards the 2p zone, tested that old resistance as new support, and then went up from there. And the stop loss on the whole bull argument at the moment just below 2 pence. The other point to note is the way that we're in the run-up to a 50-day, 200-day moving average golden cross. And so this is officially the strongest part in the technical cycle. So I'm probably guessing that if there was a dip, it would be back towards the 2.2 pence area at most. Stock which I've covered several times in the recent past, and one which has continued to impress. First target on Greatland, I think, when it was knocking on the door of 2.5 pence, was up to 3.1, 3.2, which was that resistance line projection from December, January, or the turn of the beginning of 2019. Second target, once that was achieved, was 4.5 pence, which was a resistance line from the end of 2017, and now we dare to project the stock a bit higher, even up towards that late 2016 resistance line projection, currently heading towards 9 pence. And that target valid, I suppose, while we hold above the last resistance line target, which was or is 4.5 pence. Ideally, there's no break back below 5 pence. I think 10% retracement from current levels would probably be more than most could cope with anyway. So that is the situation at Greatland. We always mix it up here with both momentum situations and trying to get the early bird stocks, which people tend to like. One of the early bird ones here looks to be Light Dwarf. Obviously, we've been in this range between 1 and 2 pence over the last month or so since the stock collapsed in the latter part of January. 2 points note here, that resistance line there at 2 pence, and also the way that 2 pence was support on the way down for the shares, and so we've got a bear trap effect going on there. We've also got bullish divergence in the RSI window with lower lows there for February, the initial part of February, but higher highs in the RSI window. So end of day close above 2.5 pence today, or 2 pence today, should take the shares towards the 50-day moving average at just over 3.5 pence over the next week or two. Stock, which was flagged here some time ago now, when it was around the 0.35 pence level, is Powerhouse Energy. That actually broke at the time in December a line of resistance going from mid-November, breaking that line of resistance, and stock hasn't really looked back apart from the retracement that we had just for the start of this month. But we've broken the January resistance line. We did that a few days ago, and I think that's the last time I covered it, just when it was around 0.7 or 0.72. And looks as though now we can progress towards the top of this rising trend channel from December, heading towards 1.2 pence, and that very much valid while we hold above the 0.8 pence area, which was the initial February resistance. So reasonable risk reward on that situation. Finishing off with the stock, which I've been meaning to cover many times in the recent past, but there were other things which were rather more glamorous and rather more immediate. Comes in the form of Sylvania Platinum. Platinum stocks obviously are very much in focus at the moment, and along with the other PGMs. Got a break of this January resistance line there at 45 pence. End of day close above that level and above January resistance could open up the prospect of a move considerably higher for the shares, hitting a line of resistance from the beginning of last year, heading towards 75 pence. The reason for the relative enthusiasm is the one-touch bear trap rebound from below the 200-day line at the beginning of the month, and then also the same for the 50-day moving average, and both 50-day and 200-day lines currently rising at the moment. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.